everyone, and welcome again to another tutorial. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a beaded door hangers or flat beaded basket for your door hangers. I thank you so much for joining me again. Let's get started. So I have here on my table faced bead. This is opaque color. The round bead is perfectly for this, okay? If you have a round bead, you can use it and use the colors of your choice. So we are going to start, and here's my line, okay? I have my fishing line over here. I'm using a thickness of 50 pounds. This is 50-pound fishing line that I'm using over here, and a little ply to cut my thread. So here's my line, and we are going to start with 4 beads. I'm stringing 4 beads on my line like this. 4 beads on the line. Then I'm going to hold the last one and cross the other end in it and pull like this. Now we are going to do 4 flower beading on each line, one bead on each line. Then I'm going to cross both ends into this one and pull. Because they are sharing one in common, we are going to add 3, 3, 3. Okay, so this we have 2 done. We have 2 flowers done, and we are going to make another one again. So on each line, one bead on each line. Then I'm going to cross both ends of my line into the 3rd one and pull. So this is the 3rd one. I'm going to cross both ends of my line into this one and pull like this. Now we have 3 flowers. We have 3 flowers done like this, and we are going to make only 3 of this, not 4 but 3. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the ends together like this. This line, 1 bead. I'm going to add 1 bead to the line, and I'm going to hold that end and go through. This is the bead I add on the line, okay? So I'm going to go through this bead. I'm holding this line to go through the other end, and you have something like this. Okay, now I'm picking 1 bead and cross both ends of my line into it and pull. Now we have something like this. If you're done, this is what you have. Okay, this line, 3 bead. Add 3 bead to the line, and now we are going to continue to weave on this one. I'm going to go through this bead, and I'll be adding 2 bead to my line. 2 bead. Into the next bead, 2 bead like this. Hold the last one, cross your other end into it and pull. Now I'm going to go the line, go to this and this one. I'm going to go through the middle bead right here and the side one. And the number of bead I need, only 1. Cross both ends of your line into it and pull. This line, we are going to start again 3 bead. So we are going to build on this one. This line into the next bead. This line, I'm adding 2 bead to it. Take your time and follow the steps, okay? This line into the next bead, and you do exact same thing that I'm doing over here. 2 bead. Don't rush, take your time, watch and do it. I'm going to go through this one and the side one, okay? And the number of bead I need, only 1 to complete this step. This line, 3 bead. We're starting with 3. So we are using all the 4 bead on top over here. That's what I'm doing. I'm going through all the 4 top bead and adding bead. So first we start with 3 bead, and now into the next bead add 2 bead to the line, cross and pull. Now I'm going to go through the next one, 2 bead. Okay, add 2 bead to the line, cross and pull. Now I'm going to go through the last bead and the side one. That's where we are going to step up again and build on this one. We need only 1 bead to complete this step. This line, 3 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead, 2 bead. Into the next bead, 2 bead. Okay, 2 bead. And I'm going to go through this one and this one, this and this. That is how we are going to continue this weave and weave it. This is a solid, firm weave that we are making over here. This is a pretty beautiful. So make it long as you want it. And I'm going to show you how long I make this. Okay, this is how I weave very long. And I'm going to measure to you to see how long it is. So from here we go down. This is how long I weave this. 28 inches long. And what we are going to do, we are just going to put these ends together and join it. So we are going to hold both ends together like this. Make sure they are all aligned well. And we are going to join it. So this is my line. This is the fresh line that I cut, okay? Then I'm going to put 1 bead on it. I'm going to add 1 bead to my line. And I'm going to go through 2 bead. I'm going to hold my line. Make sure you hold it well. These 2 bead, that's what I'm going to go through, okay? I'm going to pull my line through 1 bead, these 2 bead, this end into this bead, and the other end into this one. And I'm going to pull both ends together, okay? Pull to join it like this. So I pull my line. Now I pick up 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. Now put them together and make sure it's tight. Okay, now this line into the next bead. Go to the next bead in front of that. This one to the left into the bead next. Now take 1 bead, cross both ends of your line into it and pull. I'm going to pull my line again into the next bead. These 2 bead over here, these 2, that's what I'm going to go through. So I'm going to go through this one, and the other line too, I'm going to pull it through the other one. Go through this and pull. Take 1 bead, these 2 bead, that's what I pull my line through, okay? I'm taking 1 bead and crossing both ends of the line into it and pull. Like this, pull and pull tight. I'm going to go through the next bead under it. This one and the other one too. I'm going to go through this one into this one, this line into this. So go through the next bead in under that bead and pull your line through. Over here you are just going to weave the line back into the bead, pull it tight and make it strong and firm. That's what we are going to do over here. You're not going to add any bead, just weave through weave the line through the bead and make it firm and secure. Okay, so I'm just weaving the line back into the bead. Make sure it's well secured enough before I trim it off. Okay, so now that I'm done, I'm just going to give it a little push and then mold it nicely, give it a shape, the round shape that I want. That's what I'm going to do. So if you are done with yours, just give it a little shape with your hand and mold it nicely. So this is what we have over here, and the next thing we are going to do, we are going to weave along this edge. We are going to weave along this edge, and we are going to do 6 flower beading over here on this edge. That's where we are going to start our weaving from. So into these 2, I'm going to pull my line, pulling my line through 2 beads. Pull my line through 2 bead, and I'm adding 4 bead to my line. This is 6 flower. Okay, we are going to do 6 flower beading. So I add 2 bead to my line. Let me turn it well for you guys to see. Now I'm going to go through this line into the next 2 bead. I'm going through 2 bead. Okay, go through 2 bead. First we add 4. I went to 2 bead, and now I'm adding 3 bead to my line. Add 3 bead into the next 2. So again, I'm going to pull my line through the next 2 bead, and now my line is in 2 bead over here. These two bead, that's where my line is. On this line, 3 bead. I add 3 bead to my line. I'm going to hold the last one, cross my other line into it, and pull like this. I'm going to go through the next 2 bead again, this and this one. Next 2 bead, add 3 bead to the line, 3 bead. Now into the next 2 bead, I add 3 bead to my line. So this is what we are going to continue to do. Go to 2 bead and add 3 bead halfway. We are going to go round and stop halfway. Okay, this is what we are going to do. You go through 2 bead and add 3. So far this is what I've done. This is what I've done so far. I'm still weaving. I'm going to go through the next 2 bead, and I'll be adding 3 bead. And this is how it's looking like. Okay, we are going to do it. I'm going to continue to do it halfway. Where I start, I'm going to stop at that level. So this is how the weave is looking like. I'm going to continue and do mine off camera, and I'll meet you back here when I'm done. Okay, now I'm back. This is how it's looking like. I did it halfway. Okay, only halfway. And now my line is in the last 2 bead. So I'm going to show you how we are going to turn over here. These 2 bead, the last 2 bead my line is. So this line, 3 bead. I add 3 bead to my line to turn. I'm going to turn here. Now this line, I'm going to go through the next bead, this one. That means we are going backwards. I'm going through this 1 bead, okay? Only 1 bead now. Then I'm adding 4 bead to my line. Add 4 bead to the line. Cross and pull. Now into the next 2 bead, this and this one. We are doing 6 flower beading over here. So I'm going through 2 bead again. Into the next bead, add 3 bead. I'm going to add, this is where my line is, it's in 3 bead. So I'm adding 3 bead to my line. I'm going to go through the next 2 bead. This is how it's looking like. Into the next 2. So pull your line through 2 bead. This one and the next one. Add 3 bead to your line. I'm going to go through 2 bead again, this and this one. and I'm going to add 3 beads to my line. We are doing 6 flower beading, that is the weave on this stage. Into 2 bead, add 3 bead to your line. Now do the same thing, go to 2 bead and add 3 3 3 to the end. That's what we are going to repeat on this stage. This is how the weave is looking like, very beautifully. Now we are done. We're coming to the end. We are going to turn again. Now I'm in my last bead. Okay, I pull my line through the last 2 bead over here. This is how it's looking like, halfway. Very beautiful. This is what we are building. So I'm in my last 2, okay? I'm in my last 2 over here. I add 3 bead to my line. Now we are going to turn again. 3 bead. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the next bead. Pull your line through the next bead. Only 1 bead, okay? Pull it through the next bead. That's how we start. Then we are adding 4 bead to the line. 6 flower into the next 2. So on this stage we are doing 6 5 6 5. Into the next 2, I'll be adding 2 bead to my line. 6, and we are going to do 5 over here. 6 5 6 5. I add 2 to my line. Add 2 bead. Six, 5. Okay, down the next one is going to be 6 again. We are going to go to the next 2 bead. And I'll be adding 3 bead to make that circle 6. I'm going to go to the next 2. I'll be adding 2 bead to my line. 2 bead. Into the next 2 bead. Three bead. Into the next 2. So I'm going through my next 2 bead, and I'll be adding 2 bead. Into the next 2 bead again. When I'm going through the next 2, I'll be adding 3 over here, 3 bead. I added 3 bead, and I'm going to go through the next 2 bead again, and this time I'll be adding 2 bead because it's 6 5 6 5. Okay, 6 5 6 5 is the stage that we are doing. 2 bead. This is how the weave is looking like, very pretty. You can see the design already. So continue to the end, and this is how it's looking like. So this is how the weave is looking like, okay? This is how it's looking like. And I'm now in my last 2 bead. I'm in my last 2 bead over here, and I'm going to complete with 3 bead. Like this. Go to the last one. I complete with 3 bead. And now the rest of this line, I'm just going to weave it back into the bead. So this is how it's looking like. You see the edge? It has to look the same, okay? It has to look the same. So this line, I'm just going to weave it back into the bead and trim it off. And now that we complete this stage, I'm going to show you how we are going to do the last stage of this. It's very, very simple. This is the final stage we are going to do, and that's it. Here's my line. I'm going to go through the first bead over here, this one. This first bead. And I'm adding 3 beads to my line. Into the next bead. I'll be adding 2 beads. We are going to go through one bead on this stage, okay? Into the next bead. The edge is going to curl. 2 beads. It's going to curl. If it's curling, don't worry about it. That is how it's supposed to be, okay? Into one bead, you add 2 beads. I'm going to pull my line through the next bead. This time we are not going through 2 beads, but only 1 bead, okay? Add 2 beads to your line. Into the next bead, 2 beads. Into the next, add 2 beads. This is how the edge is looking like. We are going to do it to the end. And I'm about to complete mine. Into the next, 2 beads. This time we go through 1 bead and add 2 beads. Into the next, 4 flowers at the last end, okay? 4 flowers. And now I'm going through this one, 2 beads. Go to the last one over here. This is the final one I'm going through, and I'm adding 2 beads. Now we come to complete this like this. The rest of the line, I'm going to weave it back into the bead and then trim it off. That's what I'm going to do. So this is how we complete this stage, okay? We are going to turn it around like this and do the back too. It's going to be like a little pouch that we are going to make over here. So this is how the front is looking like, the edge, and we are going to weave the same thing in the back. But the last stage we are not going to make, okay? So we are going to use this. I'm going to go through the next 2 beads. My line is in 2 beads over here, this 2 beads. And I'm adding 4 beads to my line. Into the next 2, 3 beads. We are going to weave the same way we weave for the first one. Into the next 2 beads. 3 beads. Into the next 2, add 3 beads to your line. Into the next 2 beads, three beads. So this is how we are going to continue. I'm going through the 2 beads and I'm adding 3 beads. We are going to continue the same way and complete and stop here. Okay, now that we complete, this is how it's looking like. I complete the first layer over here up to the end, and now I'm going to turn this line. I'm going to add 3 beads. Add 3, cross the last one and pull. So this line into this bead. So we are going back 1 bead into this bead, this line, 4 bead, cross and pull. I'm going to go through the next 2 bead, this line into the next 2 bead. And I'll be adding 3 bead. into the next 2. So we'll be going to 2 2 bead and add 3 3 bead. 3 bead. I'm going to go to the next 2 again and add 3 bead. Into the next 2, add 3 bead to my line. Now I'm going to go to the next 2 bead again, and I'll be adding this line 3 bead. This basket is very simple and super easy to make. You can make one for yourself. So this is how we are going to continue. This is how it's looking like. Very pretty. We are making like a little pouch over here. That's what we are creating, okay? So continue. I'm going to do it off camera, so I'm going to continue to do it to the end and come and meet you back here. So now I'm in my last 2 bead, okay? I'm in my last 2 bead. I'm going to add 3 bead to my line. So I add 2, then I'm going to cross my line into the 3rd one. 3 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead. So you see here, we are going to continue to make 6 5 6 5 on it. So I'm starting with 4 bead. Into the next 2 bead, I'll be adding 2 bead. It's 6 5 6 5. Remember, into the next 2, into the next 2, add 2 bead. I'm going to go to the next 2 bead, and I'll be adding 3 bead. Into the next 2, 2 bead. Remember, this stage is 6 5 6 5, okay? This is how the weave is looking like. 6 5 6 5 6 5. Into the next 2, I'm going to add 3 bead. I'm going to go to the next 2 again, two bead. Into the next 2. So this is how we are going to continue to the end. So this is how our basket is looking like. We are halfway done, and you're just going to continue to complete it. This is the front view of it, and this is the back, okay? Here is the front view. The last step on the front, we are not going to repeat it for the back. We are just going to leave the back flat like that, so when we hang it, it can hang flat on the door. And this is how it's looking like. Very pretty, very beautiful. And here is like a little pouch that we create, and we are going to stick our foam in it and then stick the flower on it. And this is how it's looking like. Very, very beautiful and creative. So yeah, this is how our flat beaded basket is looking like. Our door hanger, this is how you create it. You can make one for your friends, your mom, your loved ones, whoever you want to make it. You can use a round bead and choice of your colors too. So I'm going to show you how we are going to stick the flowers in it, okay? This is a little pouch that we create. Even if you have a ribbon, you can tie it on it and make it pretty. If you have a ribbon of your choice, mine is a little floppy, you can just tie nice and neat at the top. And here is my foam, and I have a glue over here. This is a jewelry glue that I have. And this is a floral foam that I'm going to use in it. I'm just going to put some glue on it and stick it in that pouch over there. So I'm just sticking it in the pouch, And when it dries, it's going nowhere. That foam is going nowhere. It's sticking there. Okay, it's going to be really hard. I just put some in it and stick it on it. I'm going to stick it in the pouch that we create. Don't worry if it's showing, because we are going to hang the flower on it, and we are going to be creative about the flowers, how we are going to poke it so that nothing is going to show. Just make sure the foam stick inside over there. Then you start creating whatever flowers you want, the choice of colors that you want to stick in it. Just stick it and make it pretty and beautiful. Hide that foam with the flowers, make it hang on it and hide it. So this is how we are going to start to poke the flowers in it. So this is all I want to share with you today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.